Good morning, children. We'll continue with the lesson, The Gift of the Magi, page 117. English, Engaging English textbook, page 117, The Gift of the Magi. So, yesterday we did how Della went to Madame Sofroni to sell her hair. And she was very sad about it, but she wanted to give Jim a very valuable present to show her love for him. So she sacrificed her hair, which was her most precious possession. So after selling her hair, page 117, at the end of that page, the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. That is, she is very happy because she is searching for a present for Jim. The next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. 2 hours she is looking into the shops. She is very happy. She is thinking only about the present which she can buy for Jim, which she has to buy for Jim. The thought of her hair, of cutting her hair, is not in her mind now. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. Store is the shop. Ransacking means searching. She was searching all over the shop for Jim's present. She found it at last. It had been made for Jim and no one else. She thought that this present in the shop was specially made for Jim. There was no other like it in any of the stores. This particular present, it is a small chain attached to a pocket watch, a fob chain it is. It was a platinum fob chain. This is a small chain which is attached to a pocket watch. Remember, Jim had a watch, it was handed down from his father, handed to him by his father. And it is his most precious possession. She found it at last. It has been made for Jim and no one else. There was no other like it in any of the stores. And she had turned all of them inside out. She searched all over the shop. She pulled out all the things. It was a flat platinum fob chain. This is the present which she bought. Simple and pure in design. It looked very attractive, very simple, but it looked valuable. It looked expensive. Quietness and value. A very simple gift, but a very valuable gift, a costly gift. The description applied both. Jim is also like that. He's very precious to Della. $21 they took for it. She had sold her hair for $20. $21 they took for it. And she hurried home with the 87 cents. It is 78 it is given, it's actually 87 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. She's planning to buy the chain for him to be attached to his watch. And if he has the chain on him, he will be very proud of his watch. He will take it out from his pocket when there are people around. Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company means he will be proud because the chain is there and he is proud of the chain and also the watch. He will take it out. Very proudly he will take it out. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked at it on the sly. He looked at it secretly because he didn't want others to see the old leather strap of the watch. Because of the old leather strap that he used in place of a chain. It was an old leather strap, so it did not look good, so he was ashamed to take it out in front of people. But now, with the new fob chain, Della thinks that she will be very proud to take out the watch in front of people. When Della reached home, her excitement dimmed a little. As soon as she reached home, she remembered about her hair. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work, repairing the ravages made by generosity added to love. That is, she wanted to do something about the hair. Ravages is the damage which she had done to her hair. She had cut it off. Because of her generosity and because of her love for Jim. These are the two things which prompted Della to cut her hair and sell it for $20. So she took her curling pins and put it on the hair. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look like a truant schoolboy. Truant schoolboy is, truant means cutting class and going somewhere else. During class time, cutting the class and going somewhere else. So when she covered her hair with curling pins, she looked like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully and critically. Critically means she wanted to guess how Jim will feel without her hair. How Jim will think of her cutting away her hair. At 7 o'clock the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove ready to cook the chops. Chops is the meat. Jim was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner of the table. Then she heard his step. She's waiting anxiously. She's proud of the gift she has brought for him, but she is anxious of what he will think about on seeing her. She will look different now without the hair, without that long hair. Then she heard his step on the stair down on the first flight. And she turned white for just a moment. For just 1 second she turned pale, feeling anxious how Jim would react to her hair. She had a habit of saying little silent prayers about simple everyday things. And now she whispered, "Please God, make him think I am still pretty." This is her prayer to God. Make Jim think that I am still pretty even without my hair. The door opened and Jim stepped in and closed it. He looked thin and serious. Thin, poor fellow, he was only 22. But to be burdened with a family, he looked thin, he looked very serious because he's 22 and he has to provide for the family. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. In cold weather, people usually go about in gloves. But his overcoat was old, he needed another one and he had no gloves. Again, the poverty of the couple. Jim stepped inside the door. His eyes were upon Della and there was an expression in them that she could not read and it terrified her. Jim looked at her in a way that he had never looked before. An expression on his face which Della had never seen. And it frightened her. It terrified her. The expression on his face was not anger, surprise, disapproval or horror. Disapproval, dislike, horror, terrified, horror. It was not any of these feelings which Jim expressed on his face when he saw Della who had cut her hair. It was not anger, surprise, disapproval or horror or any of the sentiments, any of the feelings that she had been prepared for. He might have been angry, she would have accepted that, or surprised or disliked, he would have looked at her with dislike, but it was not any of these expressions which Della expected to find on his face. He simply stared at her fixedly with that peculiar expression on his face, a very strange expression on his face. He just went on looking at her, staring at her, looking fixedly at her. Della wriggled off the table. She's feeling uncomfortable. She slipped down from her chair and went to him. She wriggled off the table. Wriggled means moved down, got down and went near Jim. "Jim, darling," she cried, "don't look at me that way. I sold my hair because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. It will grow again." It will grow out again. My hair grows awfully fast, extremely fast. My hair grows. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let us be happy. So she's explaining why she sold her hair, why she had to cut her hair. She cut her hair and sold it in order to buy a worthy present for Jim, a valuable present which he would like, which he wanted. Jim looked about the room very curiously. Again, he had a strange expression on his face. You say your hair is gone? He said with an air almost of idiocy, that is foolishness or stupidity. You say your hair is gone? He cannot believe it. He is too surprised. And there is another reason for his surprise, for this peculiar expression on his face, which we will come to later on in the story. You needn't look for it, said Della. You don't have to look for the hair, you will not find it anywhere. You needn't look for it, said Della. It is sold, I tell you. Be good to him, for it went for you. Don't be angry, don't be sad, don't look at me in that peculiar way, because I sold my hair to buy you a present. Jim quickly awoke out of his trance. Trance is a kind of dream. Not realizing what is happening at that moment, not aware of what is happening at that moment. Jim quickly awoke out of his trance. He embraced his Della. He drew a packet from his overcoat pocket and threw it upon the table. His present for Della. He took it out from his pocket and kept it on the table. Don't make any mistake, Dell, he said. Dell is calling her in an affectionate way. I don't think there is anything in the way of a haircut that could make me like my girl any less. No matter how your hair looks, I will love you all the same. There will be no difference in my love. But if you will unwrap the package, you will see why I was surprised at first. You open your present and then you will know why I looked like that peculiar, strange expression. It was not because I loved you any the less without the hair. White and agile fingers tore at the string. She quickly opened the package. White and agile fingers tore at the string and the paper. The present is wrapped with a string. She cut it open. There was a delighted scream of joy. She was so happy when she saw her present. And then immediately her expression changed. And then a quick change to hysterical tears. She began to cry. Hysterical tears. Hysteria means a very great state of excitement. She was very excited, but at the same time very anxious and worried. And then a quick change to hysterical tears and wails. She started crying, weeping, followed by Jim's soft words of comfort to Della. Jim began to comfort her. For there lay the set of combs that Della had worshipped for long in a shop window. Jim bought the combs for her, and that set of combs she had wanted very eagerly. She worshipped means she liked it so much that she was so eager to keep it on her hair, to use it on her hair. For there lay the set of combs that Della had worshipped for long in a shop window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell, that is semi-transparent, made with the shell of the turtle. It is used for making ornaments. Very beautiful it looked, very splendid. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jewel rims. Just the shade for her beautiful vanished hair. Hair which has disappeared, hair which is gone. And it suited her hair. It was the correct color for her hair. It will suit her hair very much. Just the shade for her beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive, very expensive combs, and her heart had yearned for them. Yearned means longed for them. She wanted the comb so much. She was so eager to have the comb. Her heart yearned for it. They were expensive and her heart had yearned for them. Without the least hope of possession, she never dreamt, she never imagined that she would ever possess those combs. She had no idea that the combs would one day belong to her. And now they were hers. Now she had the combs. But the tresses that should have adorned them was gone. The hair on which she would have kept the combs is gone. The combs is there, the hair is gone. She wanted to keep the combs on her hair. She hugged them to her heart. She's very thankful, very happy that Jim had thought of her and bought this. Then she looked up with dim eyes and a smile and said, "My hair grows so fast, Jim." She got over her disappointment and she said, "My hair will grow very fast." But Jim had not yet seen his beautiful present. She held it out to him eagerly from her open palm. She took out her present for Jim. The dull, precious metal seeming to flash. The platinum fob chain was shining in her hand. Isn't it a dandy? It's something precious, it's something beautiful. It's something so splendid. Isn't it a dandy, Jim? She's telling Jim. I hunted all over town to find it. I searched all over the town to find the combs. You will have to look at it 100 times a day now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it. You'll be so proud of the fob chain. You will be taking out your watch 100 times when people are around. So Della is saying, give me your watch and I will put it on the watch. Instead of obeying, Jim just smiled. Dell, said he, let us put our Christmas presents away and keep them away for a while. They are too nice to use just that present. They are so good to be used now. So we don't have to use them now because they are so good. The reason is I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs. So Jim has sold his watch in order to buy the combs for Della. Della sold her hair in order to buy the fob chain for the watch which Jim had. Now there is no watch, there is no hair, but the Christmas presents are there. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs. The Magi were wise men, that is the 3 wise men from the east, who by the star they understood that a king was born, and the king is Jesus, and they bought precious gifts to give it to him. The Magi were wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. Babe is the baby, Jesus in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. They are the first people to give Christmas presents. And they started this practice of giving Christmas presents. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. This is the uneventful story of 2 foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasure of their house. So they are foolish. But then the writer says, are they foolish? They are not foolish. They are really wise because they showed their great love and generosity for each other by giving away their most precious possession. They sold it for the sake of love. They sold it for buying a valuable, costly present for one another. But let it be said that of all who give gifts, these 2 were the wisest. You cannot say they are foolish. They are the wisest because they sacrificed their most precious possessions to buy each other a gift which was valuable, and in the midst of their poverty, they were able to do it by sacrificing their precious possessions. But let it be said that of all who give gifts, and these two were the wisest, they were the Magi. Now you have there in the side of the page, according to the Bible, the Magi were wise men who came to worship the infant Jesus Christ and brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Very costly gifts. They are wise men, they are rich. About the author, O. Henry, 1862 to 1910, was the pen name of the American writer. He adopted this name in order to write his stories. Was the pen name of the American writer William Sidney Porter. He was the master of the short story genre, whose works are characterized by a surprise twist in the end. All his stories have a surprise ending. He was a keen observer of everyday life, and most of his characters are ordinary people. Here you have Jim and Ella, an ordinary couple, a common couple. Some of his most loved stories are after 20 years and a retrieved reformation. With that, we will stop today's session.